I'd like to call this meeting to order of the City of Geneva Historic Preservation Commission for Tuesday, October 21st, 2025. First thing on our agenda is a roll call.
Zellmer?
Here.
Tobler?
Here.
Jensen?
Here.
McManus?
Here.
Phillips?
Here.
Reedy?
Here.
Sullivan?
Here. Everyone here, good. And we have a quorum, so next on our agenda is the approval of meeting minutes for September 16th, 2025. Any comments, or if not, can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
And I guess we'll call a roll.
Okay. Zellmer?
Aye.
Tobler?
Aye.
Jensen?
Aye.
McManus?
Aye.
Phillips?
Aye.
Reedy?
Aye.
Sullivan?
Abstain. Okay, great. Next on our agenda is introduction of City Administrator Alex Voigt. And there she is.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me this evening. My name is Alex Voigt, and I joined the City of Geneva in early September as the City Administrator, so still getting settled in and acclimated, but I appreciate the opportunity to come and say hello to everyone. I did, in my previous role, work with our boards and commissions, so I did spend quite a bit of time with our commissioners, so I appreciate all of the time that you all put in and would like to thank you for that. This is an important part of the process, so I do appreciate the opportunity to come and say hello, and I look forward to learning more about you and working with you in the future.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Well, thank you.
Where did you come from?
I came from the city of Aurora.
Oh, very good.
Yep. Would you all like to go around and
Sure.
introduce yourselves?
Sure.
Okay.
My name's Paul Zomer. I'm the chairman, and we've been trying to figure out how long I've been on the commission, and I think it's about 10 years.
Okay.
So, but I have the longest tenure on this. I'm an architect, work for the Jenkins, I'm a partner with the Jenkins Group in Itasca.
Oh,
But
very
I do not do work in the city of Geneva, unfortunately.
Just on your own house.
Yes, I do work on my own home, yes.
Very nice.
I'm Jewel Jensen. I've been on the commission for 4 years. I'm an educator. I love working with kids and I love history, and I've been involved in preservation ever since I've been about 15 years old. So it's a big part of my life. Hey, Al.
Kevin Phillips, I've been on the commission for a little over 2 years. I'm a retired geologist, and Jewel's the one that basically introduced me to the commission through our work at the Geneva History Museum. So
very cool.
very happy to be here.
My name is Mike Reeby. This is my second meeting. I'm the newest member to the committee.
Welcome.
I thank you. I went through this as a homeowner about 5 years ago,
Okay.
and I just loved the process. And when there was a open position, I raised my hand and said I'd love to try it out. So
Wow.
I'm really enjoying it.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yep, Andy Tobler. I've been on the commission a little over a year now.
Okay.
Mechanical engineer by trade, so all those machines from the food industry that you see, get your drinks and holding bins and all that, that's the company I've been working for 31 years, so.
Oh, wow. Very cool.
Hi, I'm Lisa McManus. I've been on the commission now for, I think we were speculating this evening because we didn't really know, but like 5-ish years.
Okay.
And then interior construction, I'm an interior designer by trade, kitchens, baths, that sort of thing. And my work is also not done in Geneva either. So.
I'm George Solomon. Once again, we're trying to figure out, I think it's been 7 or 8 years. Sometimes it seems longer, but I'm in the automotive industry, so don't hold that against me. But, I bring a different kind of flavor to it, but I'm big into history, I'm big into facilities and buildings, so that's why I'm here.
That's awesome. No, it's a nice mix of time, tenure, and experience, so that's great. That's important in terms of when you're working with the community, give them balanced perspective. So, well, thank you again, and If there's any questions I can answer, anything I can do for you, just feel free to reach out.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
thank you.
Nice meeting you.
You too.
Okay. Next on our agenda is review of building permit applications, 425 South First Street. You can take it away, Emily.
All right, so first up, we've got 425 South First Street, right over here in the southeast corner of the district. Here's a little bit of a history. So it was constructed in 1952, the original main property. And that was for Klaus and Lillian Anderson. It was then sold in 71 to Charles and Vila Baker. And in 89, an addition was constructed, which is where our current focus is on. In 2018, 12 windows were replaced with aluminum clad. And in 2020, the deck and screened-in porch were added on the other side from that addition that was added in 89. And at that point, the brick was also repainted. So here's a little bit of permit history. You can see those window replacements, fences, the deck and screen porch. And here's the site. You can kind of see it outlined in orange there, the orange dotted line. That's where the windows are that we're looking at today. And again, that's on that 1989 addition from the main body of the house. And then across from that is that deck and screen porch that I mentioned. So these are some existing conditions from the interior and the exterior of the house. Currently, they are wooden windows. And the preferred proposal is MI Sunrise replacement windows, which you can see here. And I believe we have some examples to see too tonight. And here's a little bit of a walkthrough. As part of the application process, the applicant did get us an aluminum clad replacement option and look at the repair costs for that. And you can see those costs on this slide. And those repair costs also include installations of low E insulating units, which would help with the weatherization and the climate of the windows overall efficiency. And I believe that's really it. I think we have...
Hello everybody, my name is Matt Allen. I'm from Advanced Windows and Siding. I am speaking on behalf of my client Daniel and Betsy Hannigan here. First of all, I want to thank you guys all for your time and commitment to preserving the beautiful community of Geneva. I was born and raised in Batavia, and I have been silently admiring you guys from afar, just a little bit across the river there. And so I just want to thank you guys for your time and commitment. So first of all, I just want to point out why this window replacement situation is a little bit more unique compared to the rest of the approved windows. So they do have all of the rest of their windows besides one other one that have been replaced with the aluminum clad Marvin windows. They're moving forward with replacing that last singular window with more of the Marvin aluminum clad windows consistent with the rest of the approved windows. However, this new window unit is actually part of a bow unit, so it's 4 individual units, and that's why this is a little bit more of a unique situation because it is a unique opening. So when they called me out, one of the main concerns is that they were having drafty, cold, temperature control issues in this area, and they were looking to fix that as the rest of their house was rather climate controlled. So when they brought me out, we looked at a couple of different options that would be available. There's a repair, there's a full tear out replacement, or an insert or a pocket replacement as the options. So your full tear out, you take the whole opening down to the studs, and that would be the most expensive and also the most disruptive to the interior and exterior of the home in order to replace that. So that was quickly excluded as not very feasible because there's a lot of custom interior woodwork that is inside that could be salvaged and maintained if we went with another option. So going on to the next option, there would be repair. We don't do repair as a window company, we do replacements. So I reached out to a local window company called A Window Guy, and he does wood window renovation and repair. And I inquired about a quote for replacing just the glass packages here. So that cost roughly ends up being around 30%, $1,500 for just replacing the glass package here. And while that may bring some benefit, I think part of the issue is also installation related. When this addition was added in 1988, when they installed windows, they didn't use tools like low expansion insulating foam around the perimeter of the opening, and also the windows themselves have significantly advanced weather stripping and other design features that help improve the efficiency of the window. So the technology has gotten significantly better, and also the installation is not as robust as a new, updated, modern installation would be. So those are kind of my concerns with the repair. Not to mention, it is more of a short-term focused replacement that may not last as long or may not even address the issue at all. And second, I wanted to note that that repair quote is not for any rotted wood. I didn't inquire about the rotted wood. I do think it is on its way to needing to have the wood replaced. I don't think it is in dire need right now. But that would again just be another thing that we're kicking the can down the road to repair then. So that leads me to believe that replacement would be the best, most practical option here. So that leaves us down to our two options, which are the Marvin wood aluminum clad windows that have already been approved here, and then the new option, which would be the vinyl replacement. So when I initially recommended the vinyl replacement, there are a handful of different reasons, and quite frankly, if this was a number and statistics decision alone, I think it would be pretty clear that the vinyl window is a much better option. But I do think it's important to acknowledge that the reason why we're all here today is to preserve the integrity of the aesthetic of the historic district, and so that's why I'm going to make an argument why I think the vinyl replacement window would be a better option. So stats alone, the cost looks like it would be roughly about 3 times the amount, $11,400 for replacement of those units with the wood aluminum clad windows, whereas with the vinyl replacements, it is roughly 1/3 of the cost. So that alone is a significant incentive to go with the vinyl replacement. Beyond that, the warranty is significantly different. So for the vinyl replacement windows, the warranty is lifetime, non-prorated, transferable to a new homeowner, covers all parts and components, seal failures, glass breakage, and even screening material. So you're basically covered on everything forever. And then on the Marvin window, the warranty is only 20 years on the glass package and 10 years on moving parts, and the interior finish only has a 5-year warranty. Beyond that, wood is an organic material. It expands and contracts a lot more than vinyl does, and it also can rot, whereas vinyl cannot. And lastly, I think the aesthetic impact, which is likely one of the most important parts of this replacement project, is an extremely minimal difference, and the impact that you're getting as a result of that difference is significant and worth considering for approval. So I have a couple of images here that'll show you specific differences on the actual windows themselves and what that is going to look like, and then just some images in general of the house and how it's already undergone significant aesthetic changes throughout its time here, especially even in the last 5 years, and how this minor difference in aesthetic of the window is not going to really make a big impact on the overall grand scheme of the aesthetic. So, first and foremost, I will bring you guys out the Sunrise Restoration's picture window. So this would be your fixed window. It's an all vinyl window, and this is going to be the exterior, which is the side I guess you would see the most from the street. I guess one thing to point out, or one thing to note here, is the mitered corners as opposed to the Marvin window. You'll see their butt joint. That's the picture window for you there. Which those have the least differences between the two. And next I have the casement window. The new window wouldn't have any grids, however this is an example that I have available to you. One thing that I want you guys to take a look at is mainly this black bulb seal around the outside of the window, and then again the mitered corners. So that's kind of the main difference, if you will. And lastly, I'll show you guys the Marvin window after that black bulb seal around the corner. And lastly, I have a Marvin cutout, and while this is a different window type, it is a full jam thickness window. The new window would be a similar thickness to the insert ones here. But what I wanted to point out here is just the wood sash itself. It is butt jointed here, is a straight line instead of a miter down the corner. And also you'll notice that there is no bulb seal around the exterior. Straight line there, and then the bulb seal around the exterior.
What does the seal help do? Protect moisture from getting in? I
Yeah.
guess maybe now is not my time to ask questions. Sorry, I
Sure.
can wait.
No, that was pretty much the majority of what I've had to say. Yes, so it's significantly more efficient. So for example, the Marvin windows, which were already approved, have a U factor of 0.30. That's the code minimum. So if it was any less efficient, it wouldn't actually be approved for any permit, regardless of whether or not it was a historic district window. Whereas on the other hand, the sunrise window is a 0.22 or a 0.23 on the efficiency rating. The lower that number, the better. And for context, a triple pane window is a 0.21. So this is the most efficient dual pane window you can get, and it nearly has the same efficiency rating as a triple pane window for a third of the cost. So this window is 30 to 50% more efficient than the Marvin window, and 1/3 of the cost, and the warranty is significantly better. So that is a majority of what I have to say here tonight. I would like to note that this is technically visible from the roadway. However, this is on the back of the homeowner's home. There's already been an addition there. The adjacent street that is viewable from the backyard is also a side street that doesn't have a sidewalk on either side. So I think the main difference being that the new window would have a small exterior perimeter, which looks much like a shadow in a window that doesn't have that bulb seal, is a pretty small compromise and a pretty small, low to no impact on the historical preservation of the district, with massive benefits for making that decision. So thank you guys for your time. I don't know if you guys have any more questions you'd like to ask me.
I have some things I just am thinking, and when I was reading this for the first time, first thoughts were, I don't know that I have a problem with the window replacement. That's my first thought, is because this is an addition that is just in a time that's outside of the period of significance. So if they, it's not like we're trying to preserve some historic window. That's my first thought. It is something that's visible from the street in the historic district. So while it is on the back side of the house, that's why we're talking about it here today. So
If you could, is our window policy to not allow vinyl clad windows or vinyl windows?
The window policy is to prefer repair over replacement, and then prefer replacement in kind over a replacement with an alternative material. But it doesn't specifically point out exactly what material is acceptable or not. On non-contributing properties, we have allowed vinyl windows, and that's usually administrative approval, and that dates back to Michael's practices.
Yeah, I agree with Lisa that first of all, it's not in the area of, or the time of significance. That's the first thing. So
right.
We're not really, and I don't know the difference between, is it aluminum, it's a woodwind, vinyl, is it clad or is it just?
Yeah, so the Marvin option is an all-wood window with aluminum cladding on the exterior,
Okay.
and then the Sunrise window is an all-vinyl window, and we just do aluminum capping for the exterior finish.
Oh, so the exterior finish is aluminum, not vinyl?
Correct.
Oh, okay. So there's really no difference in the finish from the outside?
It's really just this part itself being wood or being vinyl is
Yeah.
really the main aesthetic difference.
I had a question. Did anybody from the window guy, the repair, did they come out and look at the windows?
So no, he didn't specifically come out and look at the window. I gave him all of the details and pictures, and I asked him, what would you charge for a glass package replacement for a window of this size? And he did put together a formal quote for me.
So he never saw the wood damage, I think you mentioned,
Yeah, and
right?
so, and I also wanted to mention that that is not included in that cost. I didn't think it was significant and dire of need right now, but I do think it would be needed in the near future. But I didn't want to kind of conflate the two things, as I don't think that's necessarily the main issue. It's the
Well, I
product
mean, I
wood.
think it is an issue for us because, I mean, we typically like to see windows repaired first. And from my perspective, we have an incomplete repair estimate.
Sure.
Because we don't have, actually, we don't even have any photos, good photos of the wood damage of those
Sure.
windows, so we can't really make a judgment on that.
Yeah.
The repair guy didn't see them, he didn't come out to see them. Maybe, you know, I don't know if you asked him to come out and he refused or what, but that's a gap in the comparison in my mind.
Sure. No, I understand. That's a fair point. You certainly would like to have somebody take a look at it if that repair would be relevant to the replacement. The reason why I would push back a little bit against that, in fairness, is that even if you were to replace the wood itself on the sash, that doesn't necessarily have an impact on the efficiency of the window. It more has to do with the glass package itself and the installation of the window.
So, but his glass package was double pane, low E, and gas or air filled.
Yeah, argon gas.
So really, that package is the same as what you're offering in the vinyl.
It's similar. It's not as efficient, but it is similar. Yeah.
How is it different?
It's not as low of a U factor.
But you've both got, they're both double pane, they both have argon.
Yeah.
They're the same size, so I don't see, why would they be different?
Sure,
U
yeah.
factor.
The Marvin window is a 0.30 U factor. It still has low E2 coating on the glass, and it still has argon gas in the middle. Essentially, it's a similar glass package.
No, but I mean, the glass package that the repair guy was gonna put in, what was he gonna put in?
Like what he was going to put in a low E2 coating glass package with argon in the middle.
Okay. So basically the same glass package that's either in the Marvin or in the vinyl.
Correct, but they all have different U factors, right? So the efficiency ratings of all those different glass packages may be different.
But not significantly different.
Oh yeah, in the Marvin one, it is almost unapprovable for a permit replacement, whereas the Sunrise window is almost exceeding and at the point of a triple pane.
Well, I look at this table in our package and it says for the vinyl, the U factor is 0.3. Now, is that what you're saying is almost unacceptable
No, where are you seeing that?
on the table in our package?
Yeah, so,
Maybe that's incorrect, I'm not sure.
yeah, because the Marvin one is a 0.30, and that's your minimum required U factor for approval of any window.
Is that in our code?
It's not even in the code. It's within the building code that we have to meet certain U factors for windows, and that is the code.
The minimum is 0.3.
I thought it was 0.32, but somewhere around in that
Okay.
window, around in that area. It's been going down. The number has been going down as time goes on. They ask for more. Now, that's the misnomer in this is the U factor that they're calling out on the vinyl replacement window and on the Marvin one is a U factor of the system, if you will. And this is, the glass itself is just a portion of the system. So,
But if I'm understanding this correctly, it's the non-historic part of the house.
Correct.
So the windows are
Correct.
not historic.
Correct.
So the
So it
windows-
says the current
Right.
windows date to 1988.
So if they were the original windows, maybe I would
from
want a little bit.
1952, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit more information for repairing them. But because it's not during the period of significance. It also doesn't change, it doesn't affect the historic portion of the house by any means. In the replacement windows, they match the existing configuration that's
Correct.
currently there. So with all that being said, I don't have a problem with the application as is and what you're proposing the windows be.
Thank you.
Including if we're looking at what we're looking at here, the vinyl capped with custom form pre-finished aluminum as the window.
Yes,
Yeah, agreed.
yes.
I guess what we're saying
That was
is,
the replacement windows for $4,113 is the vinyl. Yeah.
Yeah. So and let me just clarify a couple things, just so we can put this on record, that if we were talking about a portion of the house that was indeed part of the time frame of significance, then we would be taking a very different look at the existing windows, and we would be talking a very different conversation about how those windows were documented, numbering those windows, having visual confirmation of the condition of the windows documented specifically for this presentation and for the commission so that we could adequately comment on, and our priority, no matter, not that we're not interested in the UV factor, one versus the other, but our first priority would be, as Kevin is discussing now, to retain and improve the window as it is, as a historic piece. In my opinion, this is not a historic piece or a historic part of the house. And so therefore, because it was something that was constructed in 88, 89, or whatever that was, and these windows are part of a structure that was from an addition that is not part of that time frame of significance, then to me, what you're presenting seems like a...
Right.
Question also that, and I concur with what we've got here as well. Plus, in replacing the windows, rather than having the window guy come in too, that will also further enhance the seal around the window and that.
Correct.
Because even with replacing the glass, whatever, you're still dealing with an older frame.
Correct.
And so that plays into the efficiency and such.
Yeah.
But, as I agree with Lisa, that, it's a 37-year-old window. It's not historic. It's in a somewhat obscure area of the house. It's going to, from the distance, even of the side street, it's, to notice any intricate details is going to be extremely limited. And, the window guy was a cheaper quote. But, they want to put in new windows. I get it. I'm fine.
Thank you.
yeah, I mean, I guess, the only reason I'm fine with it is because it's on an addition that's not within the period of significance.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So,
that-
at that point, it's like, okay, you can do what you want, because that's really, the only reason it's before us is because it's visible from the street, really. Otherwise, if it was
Partially
partially, not visible, I don't even think we would be talking about it.
No, if it wasn't visible from, I believe, South Street there, it'd be
Or
very.
even only partially
Yeah,
visible, we probably would.
It's
But-
very prominent on South Street, but, yeah.
All right, everybody ready?
Any other? No? Well, if you can put something together, Lisa?
So I will move to approve the window replacement at 425 South First Street as presented.
Second?
Okay.
All right, Zelmer,
Aye.
Vogler,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
McManus,
Aye.
Phillips,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Salt.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you very much for coming
Thank
in.
you, guys. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Giddy
I'll
up.
send you an email tomorrow, and thank you guys for coming in too, and thank you for taking the time to get this all together.
Thank
Yeah,
you, I
it's
really
great.
appreciate it.
Thank you for the visuals.
Yes. Our next item, which is, we are skipping item B because the applicant is rethinking his plans. So the next item is 101 West State Street. You want to
Sure?
take it away?
All right, I think most of us know this project pretty well, and even if you don't know the project, you've seen the building, because it's right across the street. So this is a return to from an earlier permit. There it is on State Street. Quick history. The property was originally constructed as a wood frame construction in 1837. The limestone building was constructed in 1853. There's been a series of remodels and changes to the storefront, including the one that we're talking about today. It was previously inhabited by the Little Owl, which a lot of you might know. That inhabitants ended in 2019. This project is to reopen the building and make it useful to everyone on State Street again. And so this is a return to an earlier permit that's been previously approved, a couple additions and changes to that permit, and that permit was approved in 2025.
Okay.
So here are those permits. These are the current plans that have been approved, just in case you haven't seen them in a while, a little reminder. And we are looking at a couple things. So the first thing is on that front facade. We originally thought on that second floor that those windows were all wood. It's been discovered since that there is vinyl within 2 pieces of wood trim, which you can see in these photos. The proposal is to replace those windows with something that's a little bit more accurate to what the property would have originally had, that will withstand the test of time a little bit better. The preference is for aluminum clad. We also have a wood estimate that you all have in your packets. And so this is the proposal. These is those preferred ones, which are the aluminum clad, and then the alternate, which you guys have in the packets, which is wood clad with wood casing and trim. In any case, the exterior would have the exact same milled trim go back on, reconstructed, remade, and go back on. There's a specific bit that got created so that everything matched perfectly. And the wood on the interior would also remain. We are also looking at changing the door, which was originally approved. Apologies for these photos. It was a really sunny day when I was over there. But this is what's currently on there. A lot of you might not have seen this because it's been so boarded up. So that's what it looks like now. On the left there, you see the door that's proposed to change to. So that's a fiberglass door. And on the right is what's been approved in the existing plans. So kind of just splitting those 2 panels down on the bottom into 2 rather than 1. A little bit of a change up top too. That door that's there right now is not original either way. And then finally, third thing, I think a lot of us also know a lot about blind windows after the past couple months. So we're looking at creating some blind windows. These 2 windows specifically aren't able to be used as true windows because of needs for the kitchen and different utilities. So we have 3 options to infill them with, sort of for your discussion. Option 1 is actually going to be stone that was salvaged from the property. It's much smaller than what's there because it's salvaged stone and it was on an area where it wasn't showing to the public, so it was never cut to be as nice as our exterior walls are now. Option 2 and 3 are from different quarries, but they have a much more similar sort of shape and look to them. And in case you need a reminder, this is what blind windows look like on other buildings. So it's really common for the stone or the brick or whatever masonry to go in to look similar but not exactly match what's already in there. And honestly, a lot of the times that can be helpful because it shows to the normal eye, untrained eye, oh, there was something here and it's been replaced or it's been filled in. So those are our 3 topics of discussion for today on this guy. Dennis, if you want to come up. I'll go up to the first set of windows so we can just go in order.
How y'all doing? Dennis Kintott. I'm building the stuff over there. And the original contractor was going to repair the windows, but they're vinyl, like probably 1970 or something, vinyl tracks, wood sashes. So all they did is, it was the vinyl replacement that they made 40 years ago, 50 years ago. So there's nothing really to repair. So I'd like to replace them with a wood window. And I'd like to do the aluminum clad. It'd be brown, so it'll match our storefronts that are getting installed next week. And if we use the wood window, then we'll paint it brown to match it. So the only reason I want to do the aluminum clad is so that there's less maintenance for the owner of the building. If you want wood, no problem. Then we'll do wood and we'll just paint it.
Yeah, I think maybe we'll take the three things one at a
One
time.
at a
So
time, yeah.
let's talk about the windows, and then we'll talk about the door, and then we'll talk about the blind window. So what is the commission's thought on replacement windows for that?
You had mentioned the windows that are going in next week. Are those aluminum or wood?
Aluminum, those are the storefronts.
The
that were
storefronts.
previously
Yeah.
approved.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for trying to get those windows repaired, first of all, looking into that. But they are not the original windows.
Correct.
So there's nothing too historic about them.
The only original window in the whole building is the transom windows above the main entrance. Everything else is vinyl replacements. Other than the front, those are a weird vinyl replacement.
But would it look better if it was aluminum clad to match the rest of the front of the building? I would think.
That's a good point.
That's why I asked. I was thinking the same thing.
So is there an argument against the aluminum?
Yeah, I guess that would be the
Because-
question. Because
'cause
right
it-
now, the sash is wood, but the
It's the
insert.
original sashes, trim, interior and exterior is all still there. Everything is still there.
Okay,
And, you know, I didn't offer it to you, but I could replace the sashes and do everything original for $50,000
oh, yeah,
versus, I think I'm at 14 for the windows.
okay.
So I didn't really want to offer you the wood ones. But I don't want to tell you, you know, that you know.
Appreciate the honesty.
I guess my only question is the area of the glass going to be the same as it is now with the aluminum clad window?
Within reason. Because the thickness of that plastic jamb that's attached to the existing jamb of the wooden window is probably an inch thick. And I would tell you that the gelled windows are also going to be about an inch thick. The 2¼ inch trim that I had custom made to wrap all the windows upstairs and the 5 on the east side of the building, that'll cover any of that trim. So it won't look any different. And I tore out everything on the east side that's aluminum, and that will be the same, where it covers everything so nobody will ever know well, you will know, but.
Well, I mean, the first thing we talk about is, you know, saving a window. It's not a thing, so we need to replace it. So replacement is on the table. I would imagine that we're talking about windows that are on the second and third story, so it's something that's maybe not, or are we talking about?
They're on the second
Second
story on the
floor.
front facade. I think it's confusing because I stacked those photos, but it's that row on that second story.
I was just, we said third, I'm like, is there one?
Are there any replacement windows on the basement level on the east side of the building?
Well, there were no windows. Those were all boarded up. 2 of them they opened up so they could get kegs of beer into the basement. So I tore all of those out, and we're going back with you had already previously approved. It's full glass, aluminum, dark bronze to match the front storefront.
Sure.
The ones that are on the upper that we'll replace when we do the remodel on the second floor, hopefully starting in December, those were all just white vinyl replacements.
They're the same windows, or similar?
No,
to-
these are more like a vinyl replacement that you can buy at Menards that sits in.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't like using them. So if you approve one of these 2 windows, then that's what we're going to do on the rest of the building too. Because we will replace everything. We're going to completely gut the second floor, start over, new roof. Everything's new
Yeah.
in the building.
I'm okay with the aluminum.
Yeah, I mean, it's
And
not,
it's going to be high enough that I think as we know, you're not really going to notice a detail of it being aluminum or wood, and plus the factor of maintenance, I get it, and everything else below it is going to be aluminum as well.
yeah.
Plus, you're going to be looking at the whole front of the building going, wow, that is awesome. So you won't be looking at it. You know what I mean? It's one of those things, it's a big visual.
Yeah.
Did you clean the pediments above those windows, or they look?
We did lead abatement. So they
Okay.
weren't cleaned, they were lead abated. And then we did a oil-based primer. So that's all galvanized metal. And then we're gonna start painting on Thursday.
They look nice
Yeah.
Doesn't
right
it?
now.
It's almost like leave them white, which would be ugly, but at first, it's like, wow, they look so nice.
Yeah, it's nice to see them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When do the first level windows go? That's unrelated, I'm sorry, guys. When do the first level?
Probably next Wednesday. The
Oh.
aluminum came in, so
Yeah,
next Wednesday
That's
it should.
exciting too.
Yeah. I switched the glass on the little owl side, because when I raised the floor 18 inches, I didn't think about the floor is gonna be level with the bottom of the window, so I had to change all the glass to tempered.
Yeah.
You won't know it, but I'm just glad I caught it before the glass was made,
Yeah.
because I'd be in trouble.
Yeah. And what was our second topic?
Well, that, I think.
Are we done
I
discussing
think
this
we're
part?
kind
Are we still
of
in the
done,
middle?
are we done discussing the second floor windows?
I mean,
I
our
am.
decision is whether to allow aluminum clad or just go back to the wood.
Yeah.
And I think most of us seem to be on the aluminum clad wood.
Yeah. I think it's probably appropriate here.
Totally.
So,
Yeah.
Okay, next.
okay, the next would be the door itself, which the original door, the door that's on there right now is not
Not the
original to the
original.
building at
Yeah.
all. It's from probably a builder's hardware door.
$139.
You bet.
That much?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's the one you put in your garage.
Yes.
That's right.
And we've already approved the fact that it would be a fiberglass door, I believe.
Yes.
But you're just changing the look of what it is from the proposed versus the existing.
What they originally proposed and what I can find.
What you can get.
I can't find one with a single panel on the bottom.
Oh.
It is a pre-hung, so it's all insulated. It fits in, the opening is actually bigger than my door, and I'm gonna be replacing the trim on that, which does not exist now. I'll be replacing with the 2 1/4 inch trim that you previously approved.
So you'll trim out that part and make it fit the door, or so the door fits.
It was $900 for the router bit.
Wow.
So I've got the router bit now, so
You
I'll
can
put it
make
all over the building.
Yeah,
if
you
it's-
use it
yeah.
You know, use it every chance
Right,
you
that's
get.
an easy one.
Yeah.
And then the upper windows will just get painted, and, any epoxy that I need to do, those will be the original. Those are the original single leaded glass, I believe, so
Yeah.
that'll just get fixed. I am not replacing, the radius on that is good, so I wasn't gonna replace that. The new trim will only be on the bottom because they actually have garage door trim. Regular brick mold
Yeah.
is what's on there now, so I'll replace it on the lower section. And then do any repairs I need to on the upper.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with the change of the door, to tell you the truth, since that is such a minor change. I don't think it has anything,
Yeah.
any other
It's nice, the
comments on it?
proportions are the same, yeah.
Nope.
Nope.
It feels the same, yeah.
And probably dark bronze, we're doing colors now.
Is that glass, is that a single pane of glass, or there are mullions in that, right?
There's mullions, so yeah, that's not a single pane, that's real.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. And is it an exterior mullion, or is it just interior?
No, it's original, that's from
Oh, I'm talking
1853
about,
maybe.
I'm talking about in the door itself.
That is a solid mullion,
Oh, okay.
but you know how they make them, right?
Yeah, it's one,
Yeah,
Yeah.
the glass is 2 pieces.
yeah, 2 pieces, one,
Right, but
Yeah.
there's that frame in there.
yeah. But is there an applied button on the outside, or no?
No.
No, okay.
Well, that whole framework around the window,
Yeah,
it does have that on
Yeah.
the inside and the outside, so
Yeah.
they screw together.
sure.
Oh,
And it's the flange on the trim that actually holds the glass in the door.
Sure.
It's very typical.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
It's,
Any other comments about the door?
no.
No,
If that, let's get
It's
to
a nice
the
door.
tough one, or the tougher one, I should say.
yeah.
That, when you go back with the masonry in the opening, are you gonna keep it back a half an inch or something so you get a bit of a shadow line or
Reveal or something?
Yeah.
a reveal at that point?
Well,
Recess it?
on the upper window, my thought was that I should for sure remove the sill. That would be my opinion.
The existing cell?
The existing window sill.
Yeah.
Because it's not, it won't be doing anything anymore. The header above, there's really no reason to remove it because nothing's gonna match the way I'd want it to match because I can't get that stone.
Yeah,
So I would remove the sill, take the window out, and then infill it. The option one, the salvage, when we tore out the two walls and cut the entrance into the basement, we got some decent sized pieces. But I would tell you that's called a rubble wall.
yeah,
The back of the building
exactly.
is definitely a rubble wall. Inside's between the cut block and the rubble wall. So that's, the first one would be rubble. Option two, and I apologize, I thought they were gonna talk to me. That stone they got at Fox River Stone and replaced that corner, but you didn't approve it.
Right.
Although I like that one the most, I think.
Which one do you like the most? I'm
Two.
sorry.
Option two, I think, would probably look best because of the size on the building. We don't have as many different sizes, but I think it'd look best.
So I think, I know, so here's the thing, and am I cutting you off?
No,
Okay. I feel as though, and I'm not the aesthetic police here, but when we were talking about, filling in a window, it's kind of nice to see the ghost of what was there too. So like taking any kind of header, lintel, anything like that to me out doesn't make sense. It makes sense to show that it was there, and then because with the opportunity that if somebody in the future wanted to take it out, I think that was what was listed in our paperwork at least, was that it could be restored to a window if somebody wanted to, 100 years from now or whatever. So my logic is that maybe we do an option one, that something, or something that's smaller, or it's set back a little bit so that we can see that, like you were referencing a
Yeah.
shadow line or
Yeah,
something like
I-
that, to kind of give it that distinction and let us know, hey, there was a window here, and we recognize that, and we're not trying to hide that fact. That's my personal thought.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's exactly what I would want to see, maybe half an inch, quarter of an inch, or an inch to a half an inch, that stone within the opening set back. I would definitely keep the sill.
Yeah,
I think if you look at the blind windows that he was showing specifically,
Yeah.
that one,
Yes.
the one
Like
with
there
the
was a
brick
window
in
there.
it. I like the idea of a different, I like, if the color of the stone for the rubble wall is the same, I would say go with the rubble, almost go
From
with the.
option
Yeah.
one?
I would go with
Yeah.
option one.
absolutely.
Because I think, but if the color, is the color of the rubble the same as the existing building?
Exactly.
Okay. That's, I think the difference in size would also lend itself to a blind window.
Yeah,
So
yeah, just a
that,
little.
and I think that would not present a false historic, which we're trying to avoid, and it would be using materials on site, which is, again, I think,
Yeah.
one of the things that we'd want to do.
The cost is cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, and I already saved it.
yeah, I
I mean,
know.
I've got
Yeah.
truckloads of it, so
And I
I
would-
definitely have enough.
Yeah, and I would do both window openings like that, because
Uh-huh.
you're gonna have to, just set it back maybe a half an inch to an inch, just so you get enough that it's different.
Cool.
Does anyone have any issues? I mean,
No.
is that,
That would be my preference also.
yeah, do you have a problem with doing it that way?
I just want to make you happy.
Somebody wants to make me happy.
It's so easy to do what you want.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really, it doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
I have that material. The lower windows will get set back. Those stones that go around the lower windows are already out about an inch. You can
So
see
you
it
can
in that
just-
picture.
Yeah, you can see it,
So
yeah.
I'll recess it where the face of the plane of the wall is, will be in the same
Yeah.
spot it is today, which will be recessed like an inch.
Yeah,
The upper one, if you tell me you want a half, tell me you want you tell me what you want, and that's where I'll put it.
yeah, I think,
It makes no difference.
yeah, I think an inch. If
Yeah.
the lower one's an inch, make the upper one an inch.
Just make them the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really all.
And then I have some larger pieces, because they did put larger pieces in the wall.
Sure.
Do you have any preference? I can just, however it gets laid up is how it's gonna get laid up. You know what I mean? The guy's gonna pick up a stone, whatever gets his hand, is
Yep.
gonna go next, in the
Yeah.
wall, within reason.
Yeah,
Because it's not gonna be an ashlar bond or something.
No,
you
no,
know,
not at
So
all.
it'll just be, just like the wall that was laid, that it's, other than the
Yeah.
thicknesses, that was just laid whatever the next stone was.
yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I think
great.
That's natural
exactly what
look.
we would
Yeah.
look for. So-
Yeah, as long as they don't have like a lot of real small, thin rubble at the top that grades down to larger pieces at the bottom.
No,
I
we'd
would
have-
want to see
we need to
something
be
like that,
intelligent.
but yeah.
Something
Yeah.
intentional.
Yeah.
I'm
I
cool.
think,
Yeah.
I think that's, so,
Oh, boy. Okay.
Go for it, Jewel.
No,
I was
no,
just
no,
gonna
no,
say,
this
this
is
isn't
way
mine.
too much information. No, you're doing a great job, everything is great, but now we've got to summarize it all.
Yeah.
I think that I agree with everything that was said, so that's my motion.
Well, I think we have to distinguish some things.
I think
So
we
let me,
are.
I'm gonna just scroll up to the top, actually, let me just grab this. Okay. I move to approve the, hang on.
You want me to do it?
No, yeah, well,
Okay,
hey,
fine.
yeah, you do it.
Okay.
I'll help you, George.
I agree to approve the following adjustments for the proposal for 101 West State Street regarding the front window replacements as presented with the aluminum clad and the wood casing, with the front door as it's presented with the fiberglass door with, as shown.
Oh, can I ask one question? I'm sorry. For the windows, was it just the front top or was it all the top? Maybe
The
this
front.
was- Okay,
Just the front.
wondering. Sorry, thanks.
Okay, next, and front door. And finally, with the window infill, to go with option 1, with a recess of approximately an inch using salvage stone and retaining the header and the sill, and making sure that the sizing of the stone is aesthetically looking, not all at top and big on the bottom, but use a little artistic flair.
No problem.
I'll second
I
that.
second. Good job, George.
We tried.
Zomer,
Aye.
Tobler,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
McManus,
Aye.
Phillips,
Aye.
Reeby,
Aye.
Solomon.
aye. Motion carries. Thank you so much. We
you.
really appreciate what you've been doing.
No
Yes.
problem. And may I also say it's been, like the window sills, I came down, like, we walked the building a couple times, and I said, what do you want from me? She said, you have to do this on this, don't do this, you gotta go through council with preservation with this, but like, she got the sills approved, so I didn't have to wait. I'm already done, the tuck pointer's gone, right? He's coming back to do the rest of it, so just as the staff, both building department, public works, historic, Emily's been wonderful to work with, because I can ask her, because I don't want to get in trouble. I can do that on my own. So thank you.
By the way, thank you.
Appreciate it.
We
When do
really
you think
appreciate
you're
all you do.
opening? Dennis, when are you going to be open? Do you know yet?
February. Yeah, it should be February.
By the way, I like the videos too.
Thank you. Yeah. It's amazing. I normally would get 100, a good video would give me 400 views. there's one of them that's 29,000.
Oh.
The people of this town love that building.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many people have stopped by, and I lived upstairs, I met my husband in the little aisle, and we used to get fish out the back window, and so did I mean, for years, so it's like, I'm really proud to be able to be part of this.
Yeah.
I think it's really important, that corner is one of the most important corners in our city, you know?
Yeah.
So I really appreciate everything you're doing with me.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
appreciate your
Good luck.
passion too. Thank you.
Okay. Our next item is 501 South Street.
All right.
Oh, that's my grandma's favorite place. We had a photo with the little martini glass and the white gloves back in the day. And she used to work at the piano factory, but when it was actually a factory,
Oh, yeah.
a long time ago.
All right, I'm gonna give a little history first. And then, so we're now on the other corner, southwest corner of the district. And we'll be hanging out here for a while because the next applicants are right down the block. So some history of the property. It was constructed in 1872 by Alexander Brigham Moore. This was the third property he constructed in the city, so it's called the Third Moore House. In 1873, it was sold to James and Jesse Caven. In 1890, it was sold to Charles Field, who I believe was really big in the banking industry here. In 1901, it was sold to John B. and Mary Ellen Cole. In 1923, it was sold to Obed and Clara Reeve. In 1929, and this is an important point for this, it was renovated by Lauren Greaves, who then owned the property, and that included the veranda removal. So you can see in that 1926 image, that's the property with the veranda that was on it historically before 1929. And then in 1929, that was removed. The trim was reused, you can see on the front porch and the side porch that we're discussing it today. And that sort of style was continued. It was just used in a different way, which was really common historically. From about 1930 to 1980, it was occupied officially by the Ashby family, people with the last name of Ashby. That occupants continued with Nancy Mavergini's. In 1980, her maiden name was Ashby. And she was really involved in the preservation movement in Geneva, so she's connected to us. And that photo is a picture of her from when she graduated from college from the newspaper. So here's some permit history that we have on it, a little bit more recent. In 1987, there was a room addition, several new roofs. In 1992, there was a steps and landscape project. And in 2023, there was a front porch rehab and replacement, and the patio was done. Now I'm here today. So this is the site, and then outlined in orange there is where we're looking. It's that side porch, specifically the first story. The proposal is to rebuild the historic porch. The story here is that there was a permit given to remove the decking of the porch, and through a misunderstanding, the applicant believed that that meant removal of the entire thing was approved. That's not what was approved, so a stop work order was issued. We are now at the point in the project where that decking needs to go back on, and the request is to rebuild the historic porch. That original trim has been saved and will be replaced for now, and everything will go back where it once was. New decking and new screens will be added. And so this is the existing conditions what we're sitting with. So part of the issue with the historic porch was that there was a lot of wood rot because those large beams were sitting on the ground with nothing in between them. So they were just, doing what a tree does and sucking up water. And we now have a subfloor built out, and that's what we're looking at now. We have some additional drawings of that subfloor here as well, which have been looked at by the building department already for code needs. And that, I believe, is all I have. So Chad, if you want to tell your story.
Yeah, no, just rebuilding in kind for the most part. Any of the historic portions I said are going back as the way they came down. Those decorative portions weren't built for that location there for that initial front porch they had in the house. So they were kind of just tacked up there with 2 nails. So we saved those, and I might even restore them later. Like I said, I was a little bit, this is partially being pushed later now because I've been busy with work, but TJ, who did my neighbor's house, is going to do my roof, and then we're going to repaint the house. So I said I'd only do it this year if we completed this so they could do it all at one time. I don't want to have two paying projects. So this year, we might just hang them back up as is, and next year I can talk to you guys about it. They're a little rotted out. That porch back there is kind of around the corner, so it doesn't get nearly as much sun as the front porch. You guys probably all know this house, and we put a lot of, I think we put about $100,000 in restoring 22 windows, the front door, the front porch, and the decorative up top being scraped. Unfortunately, the backside, where it was a bit more shady, I believe the decorative trim up top did not fare as well over the years. So when trying to scrape it, it was kind of soft inside. I'm afraid the front was even bad when they historic door and window came out and did that, and they had a lot of parts break as they scraped it. So it's just very old. So I don't really want to approach trying to change it right now. If we do want to replace it in kind, we'll do that next year. The floor is being replaced. The subfloor is built identical to what it was, just with pressure treated versus what was under there before. Nothing historic. The decking is still Douglas fir 3-inch tongue and groove, which was there before. The only change really is that we, having to remove the 4 8x8 columns that are rotted very badly, as you can see from that one photo, we had to jack the house back up to get it back to the proper height. We're doing interior work as well with the windows and if you move a plaster house around, obviously you guys all know it cracks quite a bit. So we had to get it back to the right height. So we, in the area where they had the frames for the windows originally, we used 4x4 pressure treated, which will then be wrapped in cedar, which will look pretty much identical to what it was prior. And all the crossbars, what do you want to call them, will be in the same locations. That's about it. Painted same colors. The screens will still be aluminum screens like they were before. And they'll be encased inside some 2 pieces of wood cove. And yeah. Any questions?
So if I'm understanding this correctly, you did have a permit in 2023 to replace the screen and the deck flooring, correct?
She said that, but I did not actually have a permit. I came in and talked to Brian on multiple occasions because we were doing other stuff, and I asked if I could fix it.
Fix the screening and the deck.
Yeah, the screens were all cracked, and the original, if you look at the original like Zillow, you can kind of zoom in and see it. Actually, if I could dig it up somewhere, I had when I did an inspection of the property, which was rather thick. All the screens were cracked, and the floor was still rotted, kind of like the front steps. You could literally put your foot through them. So I talked to Brian about that, and one of my dad's friends, who's a framer for construction, they helped me out. We kind of helped each other out. He came out to help me do it, and then I went to work, and the floor was so rotted when he took it out. He kept finding more rot. He was a little more aggressive than I would have.
So I'm a little confused then as to how that porch got so deconstructed. Like, if your permit or whatever your situation was just to eliminate the screen and the deck flooring, how did everything, like those columns and all the original trim, how did that get taken down if that's not what was included in your plan? Because you didn't have any plans to redo that porch at that time.
And like this is the first time I've had to deal with a city council. Like usually when it comes to like code stuff, I understand that. When it comes to historic stuff, I was told if I was replacing in kind, it was fine. I didn't read the fine print. And generally speaking, I told them I wanted to replace the floor. Well, the subfloor and the floor were rotted. I couldn't do that unless I removed the pieces above it. The original idea was to take them off and then put everything back. But as I took it off, it was all very rotted.
So did you determine that they couldn't be placed back? Are you like an expert in refurbishing and restoring?
The only original materials were the decorative trim up top, which I saved, and I'm going to put back as is. And beyond that, it's just the 4. There's 6 8x8s really, but the 2 closest to the house, as you can see, are kind of cut in half, and those are fine. But the 2 that would be in either western corner and then in the middle, you can come look at them if you want. They're rotted anywhere from 4 to 8 inches in the bottom, 2 to 6 inches on the top.
Yeah.
And they're going to ultimately be used as part of the structural integrity of the structure. And being a plaster house, I don't want to have 3-piece sectioned 8x8s supporting a portion of the home for the life of it. So.
What do you mean a plaster house? The outside is plaster or the
inside.
Interior is plaster?
The inside's house. You don't want the house to move very much. That house is very cracked. When I took it over, we spent a lot of time taking the wallpaper down and fixing the cracks and all the plaster. And part of it was getting that whole addition up top there. It's really kind of a glorified screen porch up top, the sunroom. It's not insulated. It's pretty much just a very fancy screen porch down below and sunroom up top, but there's no insulation. It's an exterior door. But it still is all plaster walls, and it was very cracked. Like it was starting to fall off the house.
So the sunroom that's above this now wooden beams that you've installed. Is that room secure? Is it safe the way that it is?
It is right now. Yeah, I mean, right now, it's actually better than it was, because originally, when I took that place over, those supports that were put in place of the frames of the screens were not there. And what was holding that whole structure up were 4 beams that were routed out. And if you want to go back to that picture that was indicative of all of them on the far left, that is all your posts that were holding it up. That's why that whole structure was sagging by about 1.5 inches, I have to guess. Inch and a half, I don't know.
And just
So-
to clarify, Joel, sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, go ahead.
That 2023 permit was for the front porch and not the side.
Okay,
So I
got
think
it.
that's the confusion, because
Okay.
there's so
Okay.
many porches and things going on.
Yeah, they're so close too, so.
So you're going back with, I see that there's, do you have a front picture? Before? Okay, so there are corner columns, and there's a corner, and then there's one split in the middle. Are those going back then? The ones that you're showing, the ones that are there now are just temporary?
The ones that are currently there, we're going to keep as well, because they are also still part of the structural integrity. You need a frame for the screens.
So those are the two that are splitting, the two that are existing, the thinner ones?
Yeah, so the thinner ones that are right between the thicker ones. So you have like,
Yeah.
so those originally are basically 2 2x4s. They kind of just took, George did this place back in the day with his son, John, who's a geologist, by the way. I talked to John before I bought the house, actually. He talked to me about the front porch and the screen porch, how they built it all. And they were kind of hobby carpenters, I'll call them. So all it was 4 2x4s kind of nailed together in a couple frames, and then they nailed some screen stuff kind of between them. And so our thought was, since we had to jack it up anyway, and the 8x8s were still routed out the top and the bottom, that we would jack it to the proper height, replace those with 4x4 pressure treated with the proper caps in the bottom so they don't rot out. And that would give us a chance to remove the 8x8s. When we did that, all the 8x8s, the 4 that were in question right now, were all just kind of hanging, swinging, so.
So you are going back with 8x8s in the locations that were there originally?
100%, yeah. Cedar. The only difference will be that the 4x4s that were currently in place right now, that will be wrapped in cedar. They won't be pressure treated. They'll be wrapped in cedar and painted same color. So it'll be the same kind of profile. Is that those go all the way down to the concrete U-shaped foundation.
Yeah.
While the 8x8s, when we put them back, we'll be setting them on top of the subfloor, the decking. They'll be on top of the decking. So they'll still be structurally holding the unit up. But
So who's managing the construction of this?
myself.
And who's
Are you-
managing the structural integrity of all this?
I have someone else stamp it. I already talked to Brian about it. The guy that's doing it's my dad's friend. He's a contractor. He owns a company. They do framing for developers. So he's got plenty of friends that were just signed off. They said that. Brian just said he
So
wants
someone's stamping your drawings, verifying structural integrity,
Yep.
licensed architect or something?
Yeah, Brian won't approve it unless I do that.
Gotcha.
And their experience with historical properties?
The only parts that they're touching that would be historic would be the upper stuff, which is going back as it was, and then the 8x8s. Those specifically, like I said, they're still out there. People can look at them, but I'm not going to use those. With as much rot as in them, we're going to replace them in kind with cedar and paint them identical. So they're still sitting there. Anyone wants to go out and, I told Brian originally to come out and look, but I'm kind of close. But if they want to go take a look at them, they're more than welcome to. I can always swap them back in later if you want to, based on what they are. But I don't, this thing moves. But like I said, I'm not going to use 4 8x8s that are sectioned in 3 pieces as a permanent part of the house. I think that's a little, I don't know, not really what I would want to do.
So the main structure's gonna go up that you're talking about, like, but the small details, the trim and all that, is that lost now because it was taken off? Or do you still have that?
What small details? Which
The trim,
trim.
like the trim.
The trim behind it?
Oh, I still have it. That's going to go back up a little.
So I guess my question is, are you gonna replace it exactly the way it was before?
Everything's going to look identical. When you say trim, are you talking about the decorative stuff?
I've done everything.
Yeah, so the parts that were historic pieces, which Michael Lambert said was the trim up top and the 8x8s, are, like I said, the trim's going to go back up as it is right now. Maybe I'll paint it, I'm not sure. I have to see when we get to that point.
Okay.
And then the 8x8s, like I said, we're going to replace them in kind with cedar, identical with the same skirts, top and bottom, and all that good stuff.
And the reason we have all these questions is because typically we're presented
I
with
know.
some sort of visual image of what's going to happen. So
Sure.
we're, without the visual image, we were just
Yeah,
asking
no,
these back to
Yeah,
back of
and
questions.
especially since if you go to the, what's there now,
Yeah, it's not, and
it doesn't look much like what
was
you're
there.
going back with, yeah.
Well, if you go back, those are two different angles, but if you go, we can't really swap the pictures. But
Yeah.
But if you look at the sides, like I said, where the 8x8s are at, that's the, we'll call those the thick lines.
Yeah,
Those are going back identical location. Where the 4x4s, those are the thin lines. Rather than two 2x4s, it's a 4x4 because we're
Sure.
using it to hold the house up as well, like in addition to the 8x8s. So when it's completed, you guys can even have to come back here later if you guys want to sign off on it a different way. But I don't think it's going to look any different than what you're looking at right there in that right picture at all. It's, like I said, it's just, you basically have uprights, which are same location, and you have that crossbar down below, which is just so you don't fall through the screen, which will be the exact same.
And you said the flooring was Douglas fir, tongue and groove, that'd be in there?
A 3-inch Douglas fir, tongue and groove, same that was there. And it'll be painted, hunter green. I'm sticking with the colors. The house got kind of like a green, beige and gold kind of thing going on throughout it.
On the original 8x8s, what decorative items are on there? If there's a box skirt at the bottom and at the top, then it's hard to tell, but is there any fluting in that column?
There is. I have an email to her that the millwork's going to go back identical. It's like a 1-inch, maybe a 2-inch radius line down the center and corners. So maybe one, however many, 9 around it.
So you'll cut those into the 8x8?
Yeah, we're going to do them after we put them up.
Okay.
Identical to what it was, so we get the heights all to match identical.
And then the crossbar on the screens, will that be the horizontal?
Yep.
That'll be returned?
And that's just purely going to be just a piece of wood. It's really just there so you don't fall through the screen. And it'll be used as part of the frame. So when the screens go in, it'll be a screen with a little piece of, I'm not sure if it's half, can't remember. I think maybe 3/8 or 1/2-inch cove on either side. You basically put a little frame of a cove in there and you put your screen in, you cove it on the other side, nail it in, paint it all. So it'll be to trap it. And,
So are there any pictures of the front of the house right after the veranda was removed? Like in the late 20s or early 30s?
I don't believe so, and I know Jewel has looked at the History Museum, and I haven't seen any from that time period, well, that we know for sure was dated to that time period.
If you love the history stuff, actually, Michael actually said, they'll kill me if I take it. But, because I have a big, thick thing they gave me with all the original plats, they're pencil drawn and all the old, there's a lot of weird old photos in there too. If you want to ever look at it. I don't know, I saved it I put it in a Ziploc bag and I put it away out of the sunlight so it lasts, but I don't really look at it, but it's got quite a bit. It's got the whole handwritten history going back to I don't think it goes back, and actually I was going to ask you that originally. You said 1872, but the plaque in the house is 1871.
That might just be, when they bought it versus when it got constructed.
I was just curious.
Well, the reason I asked that is because I was just curious, and I know it's not part of our discussion here, but I was just curious about the spindles that have been put on the railing in that front porch area, and whether or not that was something that was commission approved, or whether that was something that had some historical basis.
I can.
I mean, we don't have a photograph of the house as it is today. So today, the front porch there
Doesn't look
has railings with, a lot of spindles in it. So I was just curious about whether or not that had been commission approved.
I can send you the email that I sent to Michael Lambert, which got it in there. We basically matched, I talked to him about, because when I put it back up, I mean, that's part of the building department too, that never had railings on it.
Right.
And I originally did that because there was another thing where everything was so rotted, but the steps had holes in them. I think there's 3 on one side, 4 on the other steps. I think 3 of the steps had holes in the middle of them. And so we were going to replace that, but then since they made me permit it, I talked to Brian. I said, we should probably put a railing on it. He said, yeah. So I sent some photos to Michael of the similar railing spindle styles that were in the area. I walked around the neighborhood and then I picked a couple, and I sent him some photos of that, as well as the door hardware, as well as the screen door that I put in the front.
Yeah, I'm surprised that didn't come before the commission. But, I mean, that's neither here nor there
Right.
for this porch.
And the windows
Side
never
porch.
came before us either.
Same.
What windows?
So you said you restored the windows?
Restoration is not required to go for the board. We restored them. If you replace them, you have to go for the board. I had, one of the people that you guys list as your top contractors, which is Historic Door and Window.
So you restored all of them? You
I
didn't
restored-
replace any of
I
them?
restored 22 windows at a cost of $900 apiece, as well as I restored the front door, the side lights, the transom, as well as the screen door. I restored the decorative part around the front porch. I had the entire, all door window casings, as well as baseboards in the entire first floors, as well as half of the upstairs scraped down to the base, sanded, primed, and repainted. I spent I spent about $110,000. I also replaced the brick patio in back, which is brick on mud, and we fixed the drainage back there. We put an inch of gravel in, restored the drainage back there, so it's getting water away from the foundation, as well as we regraded the front yard to the proper grade, and we did the drainage up there. I think I put $120,000 into restoring woodwork, getting water away from the foundation. I want to finish this porch, and then after that, the reason we're pushing it is that I'm actually going to have TJ, who you guys all probably know, who did my neighbor's Julie's house. He's going to redo the roof, the gutters, which I'm going to put copper gutters in and whatnot. He's talking to Brian about it, and the whole house is going to get scraped and repainted, no replacements.
I'm surprised though that didn't come up in the permit history.
Right, none of that.
Which permit?
Oh, we just have a permit history that has like a 2005 for a new roof and 2023 for the front porch.
Yeah.
I don't see any of that other
You
stuff.
will need to get a permit for the roof and the gutters,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, TJ's supposed to be right. I'm surprised, it's probably in there already. I'm not sure, did he already talk to?
I haven't received it yet, but that doesn't mean he hasn't dropped it off. Sometimes there's a day or two.
I'm not sure what he said. It's different because the roof is not the same as, I don't know. I really don't know the ins and outs of it, but.
He might also just, be waiting for this meeting to be done so he knows the timing of everything.
Yeah, I think, perhaps, we'll see.
Well, this is a very historic house. I mean, it was built in 1872, and it's currently listed as contributing, which is going to be changing because it's very significant to the history of Geneva.
Yeah.
And I guess what really bothers me is that some of the material was removed without permission, without going through the proper channels. So that is pretty alarming to me. It's been that way now for what, 2 years now?
2 years.
Yeah.
Well, they told us to stop, and so I stopped, and then I went and talked to Michael, and then he retired, and then Brian didn't know what to do with it exactly, so I got busy with work. And then I talked to Jacqueline, and Jacqueline sat down with me in that room back there, and we determined what we were going to do. And then when I didn't hear back from her for a couple of weeks, or however long it was, I called Brian, didn't hear back. I called him again, didn't hear back. And I came down here, or whatever it was. They're like, oh, she quit. So then he's like, well, just fill this out again. I was like, oh, again. And I unfortunately also have a very, very busy company making, I have a factory and I have a lot of employees, and I get a little tied up at times. So for me, it kept getting kicked. And so the push right now is because TJ wants to do my painting. So I said I'd come down here.
Can I ask, who is Brian? Does he work for the city building department?
Is there a building commissioner? Yes.
Yeah, right. His office is right up there, I think.
Good question.
And as far as you really aren't working with an architect or, I mean, these are kind of like your plans that you're
Well, if I was
proposing?
planning on making additions or changes, or in any way changing the look or the materials, or there's any
You
kind
are
of structural.
changing, you did change the materials because you took the original stuff off.
But in
When
kind.
you were
so-
supposed to be changing the screens and the decking.
Yes, but I can't
Yeah.
change so that's where the confusion came in with Brian originally. It's hard to change the decking when everything's sitting on top of the decking. So the idea was to take it down, change the decking, put it back. When we took everything off to change the decking, we realized that the structural integrity of the 8x8s, and at that point, I kind of knew, but I didn't really know, but we got up top and we measured, and the whole thing was hanging down by 1.5 inches. So at that point, like I said, he kind of got ahead of me a little bit. I'm not going to lie, I kind of came home from work and I was like, whoa. But the plan was originally to remove the decking and then replace it. When we took the decking off, we had to take off the uprights, And then additionally, we took the decking off, we realized that, I think about, I don't know, a third or so of the subfloor was not pressure-treated wood, and that was the reason the decking was failing, because the subfloor was failing.
Well, and then, Jewel, there was also a stop work order.
Right.
Which was probably more permit-driven than anything, or is that right?
I don't know.
Or was it because it was, what was the stop work order in relationship to? Was it because their permit hadn't been pulled, or was it because it hadn't gone through the HBC?
So the work that was approved was basically, when we say replacing decking, that's like getting a new floor and then replacing screens, neither of which need a full permit to do. So it was basically, can I do this? Brian said, yeah, that's normal owning a house things. And then the permit was, the stop work order was because it was noticed that this had all happened. And that work does require a permit, which is why we're all here tonight. And that was that there was no permit stop until we get a permit and get that figured out and pull it through the HPC because you're in the
So
district.
the stop work order was because a permit hadn't been pulled?
Exactly.
Okay.
So obviously, you can't keep it the way that it currently is. So if this would have gone through the proper channels, we would have had a chance to work with you on rebuilding of that porch. But we missed that step because you didn't get the permit. So now we have to do something. So, I mean, kudos to you that you want to restore it to what it did look like. And I'm hoping that you have documentation and that you have pictures that are going to support your reconstruction of this historic porch. That's what you're saying you have, correct?
I mean, there's photos that you've seen that are about as much as you're going to see. I mean, there's no, do you mean like, what details specifically?
Well, I think the licensed architect who you're working with can do a quick sketch. They can do a little something, you know, that just kind of replicates, even if it's what's happening up there in that, you know, the upper left corner of that 2016 survey image. You know, like this is what we're trying to replicate, you know, and make some notes on it. I mean, I could do a drawing like that in pretty quick.
That's what I gave her, actually. Brian's got other drawings, but I just signified where the uprights were at.
Yeah, we just need to know what
Yeah,
we're
I think-
approving. I don't have
yeah.
like anything to go.
We don't have anything to,
There's, I don't have anything to approve.
We have the sketches, I guess,
I mean, that's-
showing, but they're somewhat incomplete.
What would you like to add on them?
Well, I'd like to see what the existing conditions are. I mean,
Yeah, just a little elevation.
an elevation, I mean, I understand what we're looking at there.
Sure.
But, you know, it isn't exactly the process that we should be going through.
Yeah, I
And
don't-
it's really difficult to approve something without seeing exactly, you know, if you, it would be nice to see that there is evidence that this stuff has been salvaged. The
trim.
the trim behind the screen porch and things like that.
The trim behind the decorative.
The decorative trim.
The decorative trim behind the screens, if you will.
You've saved that, right?
Yeah.
And you're gonna replace that.
We're not replacing.
We talked initially.
You're gonna put that
He's
back
gonna-
up.
We're gonna put it back up as
Right.
is.
And
I'm
then
gonna
at
come
some
back-
point
and I'm gonna come
later,
back
you
next
may
year.
come back.
Like I said, I would say I'd scrape it and repaint this year, but what I'm afraid is gonna happen is as I start scraping it, it's gonna deteriorate worse than the front steps did.
Right, and at that point, you'll have to decide whether you wanna change that or whether you wanna try to reproduce it but that would come before us.
Yeah. but in
So
the-
here, the only thing that really is gonna be different, or that we can't see, are what the 8x8s are gonna look like with the box, the fluting, and possibly the same thing with the 4x4s that you're going to coat, you're gonna trim out with cedar.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're gonna have a box on the bottom of those or not,
They didn't-
probably
they-
not,
they
but
didn't originally.
maybe that's what, Paul, you're thinking about wanting to see.
Yeah, I think that's what we'd want to see, and it just seems very, I mean, I don't know what was submitted to the city, and it seems somewhat incomplete, I guess. And that's what concerns us more than anything else, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, I would be more than happy to approve something that I had an understanding of what it was going to look like. And, just even showing us materials and a full elevation that just kind of documents what this is going to look like. This, it looks like maybe like a SketchUp image or something, but.
Would you like a side view of that with the proper colors and a
Well,
roof on
it's
it?
not that, it's just, it's,
An architectural drawing.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and really of just the areas that are visible from the street, I guess. Because even, I mean, I understand that, I would think you'd want all four sides of that drawn, but, that's,
I think the thought was that we weren't replacing, like the profiles of the 4x4s, which is basically two 2x4s, which is the same profile. And
Sure.
the 8x8s were being replaced in kind. The decorative is up top, and then there's just a bar across the bottom that is just purely for the screen frames and obviously for so
Great,
people don't
and
fall through.
that's what we want. We
And
want,
there's-
as if somebody just kind of drew up the top portion combined with the scale of the bottom portion,
A
this
listing of
is.
materials.
Yeah, I mean, we need an elevation that shows real detail.
Well, I think on the permit, I gave a list of materials when I filled it all
Sure.
out for.
And
so
now we need to see
I'm
it
not
in
sure.
scale.
It didn't
and
make it to
function.
this, but.
Just
so-
like as if we were looking at that image in the 2016 survey image, it looks just like that. I want someone to draw it up and document that and tell us what's happening.
Okay,
Because
well-
right now, we just don't know.
Absolutely. Well, I'm gonna probably be the one that redraws it.
Okay.
But I'll happily give you a side view of it if you like.
Yeah.
That's fine. But it's not gonna happen until next year, so. I mean, I could probably give it to you sooner though, if you want, but I'm not.
well,
gonna-
I mean,
But even the architect that you're working with that's stamping these drawings could draw that elevation in a half an hour.
He's a structural, he's not an aesthetics drawer, so he's gonna,
But he would know how to do that,
I mean, I could probably do it better than him. I actually chatted with Roy's friend and he said he'd write me a letter and Brian said that was sufficient. All Brian really cares about structurally, he's a structural engineer, so he's more looking at framing of houses and complexes.
Sure.
He's not drawing decorative, there's different kinds of architects out there. Some are
Understand,
versatile,
but yes,
but some of them
understood.
specialize purely in just saying this framed out structure meets the requirements of code.
Right, and it doesn't have to be the most beautiful thing in the world, it doesn't have to be,
I know, so I'll-
but showing us a note that, that there is some decorative trim and that you're replacing, we need to know what that is, just a note of how you're restoring things, we need some sort of record of something so that we can approve, because it's hard to understand if we don't have it in front of us.
Sure, so let's go down the list then.
And
So-
not even understand, that's the wrong
Well,
word, because
I-
we do, I think we're beginning to understand. But as we're sitting here in this meeting, what do we need? We just need documentation, and we need to understand how it's going to look with something that we can hang our hats on. And it also holds, whoever's doing this work accountable for making sure, and it helps us to understand scale of things and also materials and how it's in relationship to what you're saying. You're saying a lot of things, but we need to see it too.
Certainly. Can I start from the bottom, the floor structure? So currently, there's a subfloor. You guys have seen pictures of what's in there. That's going to be invisible to the street side. That's pretty much a Brian thing, I believe, correct? So he's good with that. And in terms of signing off on that, like I said, I do have a structural that is already going to write a letter stating
Sure,
that it's
that's
sufficient.
fantastic. And we're not here to question any of that, because that's really more of the city's things. We're interested in the historic materials and how it's going to be applied.
And I'm just
Not
gonna-
that we're not discounting the
Yes.
structural, but
Yeah.
we're also saying that we need something, because we can't approve it. There's nothing that we have here to approve
Correct.
today. Is that
That's
kind
correct.
of the general consensus of this commission right now? And I hate to speak for all of you, but I don't have
I
anything to go from.
agree, because it is a very weak, I mean, if I were the city, I don't know whether I would approve what I see in this as or as, there's very little here. And I don't see much, so
Yeah.
and we're not really, I want to assure you that if you came in with an elevation on two sides, because you can only really see two sides of that, or actually one side and maybe even the second side, and had some notes on it, I think we'd
Yeah.
have a lot easier time approving this, as Lisa says. I think that, it isn't we're not trying to be difficult here.
No,
It's
we just need something to go
just
on.
needs something.
Can I start what I was trying to, like, my bottom way up real quick? Because I was just
Well,
trying to.
Certainly, but we don't really,
We
we
don't
don't
need to
really
know
care
that.
about the bottom
Yeah.
on the way up.
No.
We want to see the architectural
And I'm
image
trying
of-
to clearly establish what I need to additionally provide to make sure, so if I say it and you guys agree with
Is
me,
it
then I-
something, Emily, you can pull up maybe an old, from a previous, showing like an elevation of a previous application?
Well, you can finish what you were saying, because I think, but in my opinion, all you need is an architectural elevation of this
Yeah.
to show, and then noting what the actual materials are that you're using,
which I did to her.
but you didn't do it to here.
But I didn't make this.
I understand that, but
Emily, could you put
That's
up the
just a
picture of what it is
compilation of
right now?
submitted materials.
But, so I.
Okay, you see the image over there on the left?
Yeah,
Okay, that's what it is right now.
yeah,
We need drawings to show us what it's gonna turn into.
yes,
And if it's gonna be what it's gonna be on the right,
yeah.
well, then that should be a fairly simple deal.
Yeah.
But we have to have something, because right now, we understand about the flooring, we understand about the 8x8s, all that other stuff, okay? But for us to approve what you want to do, we need the details of how you're going from point A to point B. And we're gonna want to list, and it's gonna have the materials, it's gonna have the trim, it's gonna have details for all that stuff.
Can I speak it out now?
certainly.
So, we will. So, the features I'm trying to tear down is, like I said, the decking, I did give her a list of materials for what I'm using for decking. We've spoke of it. If it's not in here, it was
That
on the-
That's
is
great. Now we
in
need
the
it in a
additional
drawing.
materials,
Yes.
so that's not printed out, but that's online.
Okay, so they have so the decking, which I said was Douglas fir, was listed in my application. A 3-inch tongue groove, which is identical to what was there.
Okay.
The 8x8s, which I said I'm replacing, they are rotted. Anyone who wants to come look at them, they're more than welcome to.
We get it.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna use those, so we're gonna use.
Yeah, we're not
8x
questioning
We're gonna
that.
use in-kind cedar 8x8s that are gonna have identical fluting millwork, I'm not really sure what you call it.
Okay, but we
on those
can't
things,
see
which
that.
is listed again on the permit that I submitted.
Okay. We need a
Additionally,
drawing
additionally, the 4x4s are going into screen frames to replace the original 2x4s, which is the same dimension, just
fine.
for structural. And it's gonna be wrapped in cedar and painted. The crossbar is gonna be the exact same height, probably out of cedar as well, a singular piece. And the frames are gonna be put inside 2 pieces of coke. The decorative trim up top, as I said, is not changing at all. It got taken down with two nails or 2 screws, piece by piece. And when it's done, it's gonna go back up with 2 nails or 2 screws as it was, piece by piece, just like it was found. So in addition to what I just said, what else would you like me to
Chad?
list?
It's Chad, correct?
Correct.
All right, so I think you've done a really good job of articulating what it is you're looking to do to your property. You had said you're a business owner, right? So if you were to go in contract with a new provider or new supplier, you can negotiate verbally the type of work you're going to do, but then it gets memorialized in a statement of work or a contract. I think what we're looking for is all of that rich detail that you just gave around what you're trying to do from the left-hand side, or on this side, the left-hand side to the right-hand side. This is from something that's coming up.
Yeah.
Memorialize it through the lens of your architect that spells out all of what you just said, showing where it's going, what products you're using, what you're keeping, what the trim work's gonna look like, so that, kind of like, rather than signing a verbal contract, we can look at it and say, absolutely, that makes sense, we're approved, go get it
Do
done.
you have my original permit I gave you?
The,
The piece of paper that I filled out?
Well, does it have drawings on it?
It's the verbal supporting of the material. So
No,
part
does
of-
it have, to answer the question, does it have drawings that support, that make it look like what it's gonna be?
Drawings that I gave her, which were just SolidWorks models, went along with the words to what that was,
so, do you remember when we were talking and I said basically the commission is gonna be looking for something that can explain that you're thinking ahead about what you're doing and that
Yeah.
can visibly see what you're doing? I know you gave us that sort of annotated document of images,
Sure.
which is a few, and then right before that, I believe,
And I would have happily.
this guy, page
I had 3
14,
days, I would have
which
drawn
you guys
more.
will see online. I know you gave us that, but I think what's happening is that the commission is asking for more, something along the lines of what's on page 16, that plan,
Mm-hmm.
but for an elevation as well, rather than just having annotated documents of a picture, seeing a full drawing.
Sure, I can do that. Like, if you would have told me, 3 days ago, I would have completed. I kind of just stopped there. I was busy with work. Like I said, I measured and drew it identical to what it is. There's nothing changing. The materials were listed in the permit. The drawing, I'm not going to lie, it's not exactly like an architectural. I'm more of a mechanical engineer. Actually, I used to make a lot of parts for that company.
So let's,
Scott Irving's
as a
I
commission,
know
let's,
very well.
how do we want to handle this?
I think what we want to do is, we want to leave this open
Yeah,
because we don't want to.
we don't want to turn it down.
We don't want to, we don't,
reject it.
we agree, I think from my point of view is, what it sounds like you want to do is exactly what we would want you to do.
Absolutely.
But we want to see exactly what you're going to do. So that,
look like.
so what it's going to look like so that we can,
I got a thought.
And somebody
about-
doesn't have to like trace out that,
Yeah.
the interior trim detail, that's not what we're looking for. It can be a block, it can be, it can do all that, but it has to be something for us to see.
I'll give you a pretty one. How about this? How about we complete it as I see it in my drawings, and you guys don't have to approve it, and when I'm done, if you don't like it, I'll tear it down.
no, that's not how it
No,
works. That's
no.
not how this works.
I know, well, that being said, so if I don't do it today, I'm not gonna have them do the roof and the painting, so I'm probably gonna kick it till spring, if not later.
Well, that'd be a good time. It'll give you plenty
That's
of
up
time
to
to
you.
get ready.
I mean,
And
that's,
also-
that's.
Yeah.
I just, I
You don't
can't, I
have to
can't
take
do
the
it,
chance to draw.
because it's gonna be
Right.
too cold to paint after.
Right.
Like, basically, TJ gave me a quote to do the roof and the painting, but when he was talking to Julie next door, and he got really busy in like Lake Geneva, and he didn't give me a quote until a couple weeks ago finally. I'm like, can we get it all done? Otherwise, I would have been here 2 months ago. But I was waiting for him to get back with a quote to make sure I agreed on it, and I'm just busy with work, so.
We understand, I
Yeah.
mean, we're all busy at work and but we can't, we don't, I mean, I don't think the city would like that, right? I mean, they wouldn't accept that, would they?
Well, the subfloor, he said they would do a pre-inspection, and all they care about is the structural. So if he can see the subfloor before the decking's put on, he said he would give a pre-approval, and final approval is when I have to actually submit a.
I am
approval.
concerned that the city would approve this based on what I see here.
Yeah.
He already said he would.
Yep. And Chad, I have a request.
Sure.
You mentioned that you have several historical artifacts or photos and everything that maybe possibly came with the home. If you don't have a purpose for them, you can always give them to the History Museum. They would love to have them.
Oh, I just saved them. Like I said, when I got them, they were in a paper, kind of manila folder. I put them in a piece of plastic. I put them up away from the light. I don't store stuff, but I talked to Michael. I was gonna keep them. I think they should stay with the house, to be honest.
Well, they should stay with the house, but if you
But
you don't want them, they
I'm not the kind of
would
person
love
that's
them.
destroying stuff, so.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it came off wrong.
Well,
As I
you
mentioned,
kinda
I
did
spent about
destroy
over
that porch.
120 grand on restoring various parts of the house, so.
I gotta ask you a question, it's bugging me. I know it's not part of this, but is 6 4x4s enough to hold up that addition for the past 2 years and going through this coming winter?
I mean, it's not really what, I wanted to leave it that way. I wanted to complete it. That being said, with Michael Lambert leaving and then the next person not coming until quite a bit later, and then seeing my application and then quitting, and combined with my work schedule and various other things going on, it's been a bit crazy. And in terms of me going out and hiring a general contractor to do it all, I know a lot of people in Geneva like to put more money in their house and they'll never get out of it. I did talk to Hogan a couple other places, and he wanted to put tile on the floor and automated screens up the top, and he gave me a quote of like $160,000 for the screen porch. I don't know if it was it was a lot of money, I don't know what it was. So, that being said, I'm just kind of replacing everything in kind, little by little, piece by piece as I go and I live there.
No, it just seems to
You
me.
just want a couple more up there?
It seems unsafe to me, and it just,
You wouldn't want
I don't know what
us to-
other damage it's doing to the house by,
It's not, there's no cracking, but I would like to complete it, finish it. We've had a couple extremely windy storms last year that didn't really make me feel very happy, but I'd like to get it completed and done. That being said, if you want to go back and draw better, I can, but I'm still not going to do it this year then, because I already left the front steps unpainted because I was trying to get the side porch done first and paint them at the same time. And those already, they've been sitting there unpainted for a year.
you get it back here next month, and for plenty of days in November, next will be warm.
I don't know if, it's not about just with the painting. He's got to do the roof first, and then the painting comes after. And so there's a certain temperature he'll do the roof at. And you're right, maybe he could, but I don't know if he's going to bet on it. So if he wants to, he could, but I'm not really quite sure. And when they do the roof, I'm going to make sure it stays I'm home from work, because being that it's an old house, once you start opening things up, I'm not going to let anyone do it on their own. I want to be available to them. when they take the roof off, because I feel like there's gonna be at least 2 or 3 surprises. I'm actually pushing that too, because there's a hole in the front of the house, and I'm getting mice in the house, I can't get them out. I think it's largely because, just, the house is old. George lived there for, pretty much his whole life.
George.
And,
Can I
I love
just,
George, by the way. I love this story. I love George. If anyone's ever read George's obituary, it's a great story. It makes you feel really young.
I bet.
It's great.
So I think what we're gonna do here is, do we need to make a motion to table something?
Do we need to make it, or do we just leave it open?
If it's not tabling to a certain date, sorry, you can continue to a date certain. You can make a motion to table the item, and then we can just reschedule when you're ready to come back with the.
Yeah, I think that's what, I think we just
So a motion
move
to
to table
would be
the item, and
appropriate
then
motion.
we'll.
So I'll make a motion to table the side porch rebuild at 501 West South Street. End of sentence.
Second.
Zelmer,
Aye.
Tobler,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
McManus,
Aye.
Phillips,
Aye.
Reeby,
Aye.
Solomon.
All right. And just understand, Chad, we're not asking you to do anything that anybody else.
Oh, it's been that way for 2 years. It's gonna be that way for a little longer, unfortunately. I pushed it for TJ because he wanted to get that in this year. And like I said, I wouldn't do the painting. I didn't want to do the roof unless I did, the problem with this house is the gutters are really shot and they weren't hung really well. So there's a lot of rot around the crown up top we've got to fix. So the painter's got to come in and do a lot of work up top. But
Well, good
I
luck.
basically need those 2 things done as well, but I don't really want to hire a painter to come out and just do part of the house. It just needs to all get done. So I'm probably just going to hold off and we'll figure it out at a later date.
We'll be here. Good
We'll
luck.
be here.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Okay. Next item on our agenda is 521 South Street.
But you should have attacked them.
Emily?
Okay. Moving just down the street to 521 South. Quick history, we've seen this before a few months ago, and we still don't have a lot of a history on the house, actually.
Things haven't changed.
Things have not changed. The one change that has happened is that in 2025, a few months ago, a permit for a new addition was approved in the rear, which is partially visible from the street, which is why we're here today. This is some of that permit history that we've seen before. This is the site of the current work, specifically the part of the work that's being discussed tonight with the change in the roof. And it's kind of an approximate square. The original proposal had this curved roof which matched some pieces that already existed on the property. The new proposal leaves just about everything the same, but proposes a Juliet balcony rather than that curved roof. With that Juliet balcony, that window there would turn into a door rather than shortening up to allow for the roof. But the lower bit of everything would stay the same, materials are the same. And I believe that's really it.
Thank you for being so patient.
No problem. We actually do have drawings.
Yeah, if you could state your name.
John Ray from John R. Construction.
Okay.
We're the contractor on the job.
Prior to
So the conversation came up, wouldn't it be nice to have a little Juliet balcony on the back? So I went to the building department, asked what we needed to do to have this approved. Obviously, it's visible from the left elevation from the street on the back of the building. So we have to come to this committee to get the approval on it.
Now, the window looks like, is the window just right off the floor there? The existing window?
It's pretty close.
Okay.
And then the proposed window would have shortened up
Yeah.
considerably for the
yeah.
roof line.
I didn't particularly like that solution to begin with, but we're not the aesthetic police here.
No.
So.
Well, we got up to the roof line and we looked at it and this made sense, so
Yeah.
we asked And that's why we're here. We're here
Okay.
to ask.
And it
So-
looks better.
Yeah.
It does. So the materials, I think the only thing that I see is, that could be a discussion point is, I don't think there's any false historical portion of this. I don't think you can, it's pretty clear that it's an addition and things like that. The material of the railing had been decided to be aluminum or vinyl?
It
or-
was proposed to be either aluminum or vinyl,
Okay,
just to make it a maintenance-free item.
maintenance-free item,
But,
yeah,
and then make it blend in with the neighborhood as well.
sure. Does anyone, what's the commission's feeling about that?
About the railing?
Well,
About the whole thing.
the whole thing and the railing specifically, I guess.
I mean, I think I'd rather see wood, but I mean, since it's on the back of the house and only really that small portion on
You only
the
see about 4
left
feet of it,
elevation
yeah,
is visible, and you won't be able to see really,
Any
you
detail?
know, any detail from the distance that you'll be looking at it. I mean, I'd be okay with that.
Your timing was good, I'm worn out.
I second the motion.
On a personal note, I really like the Juliet balcony. My daughter owns a historic home in Wilmette, and she has one, and it's the coolest thing, so,
It just gave it a little better appeal
Yeah.
and kind of fits in with the character of the home.
Yeah.
and I know it's not original to the home, but it fits into the time frame of a Queen Anne style home, so I think it's pretty creative.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Are you putting single-ply roofing on top of that? Is it going to be?
We'll do rubber roof on the top.
Yeah.
And then we'll have a floating deck, more or less,
Okay,
on the top
yeah.
with drainage coming over.
Yep. Not that we would get involved in the details. I'm
No.
just curious. Yeah.
I'm good.
Anyone else have any comments?
No?
It's nice to see something.
Thank you for the drawings.
Yeah. I'm curious, the head window, the head height of the window is not, can you go back to the original one? Yeah, that's not changing, okay.
No.
Okay. It just,
Yeah, that's,
it's like my house where not one of the head heights is the same.
Well, if you get to the first floor, we run into that.
Yeah, exactly.
but that's part of the charm and character of having
Yeah,
a
that's
historic
part-
home.
It
Yes.
You don't live in my orderly life.
Can I make a motion, or? are we-
Go ahead, Lisa.
Yeah, I'll move to approve the addition roof change at 521 West South Street.
Second.
Zelmer,
Aye.
Tobler,
Aye.
Jensen,
Aye.
McManus,
Aye.
Phillips,
Aye.
Reeve,
Aye.
Saul.
Yep, aye.
Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We're
Thank
looking
you.
forward to seeing it.
Mark, 30 seconds, get those photos. I want to see if there's any photos of my house. It was very opposite corner. Somebody told me there were photos of my house from somewhere. George probably would have it, or would have had it. So, I'll talk to Chad if I ever run into him.
Well, good luck.
Thank you. Yeah, good luck.
He's probably still outside.
It's probably still talking.
Yes. Okay, next is a secretary's report.
All right, building permit update. We had 20 permits administratively approved this month, which was crazy for October. Most of those, just about half, were signs.
Were what?
Everybody, signs.
Oh, wow.
Everybody downtown is changing their signs. One
Oh.
day I walked in, there was 3 on my desk after an hour-long meeting.
Hopefully none of those were, hopefully none of those were backlit or.
Nope, double checked.
Wow.
Yeah, so look forward to some new signs. And then most of the other things were fences in the back, normal landscaping, normal repair type deals. And then thank you for the workshop notes from last month, even though I wasn't here. I'm working on that for late winter, early spring, getting that set up and seeing what we can do, getting some education out there, which I think will be helpful overall.
You should probably tell them that you called me regarding the
Oh, yes.
State Street Jewelers and the discussion we had.
Yeah, so State Street Jewelers came in with a request basically last week to replace sort of about 4 feet down of their limestone around the property, specifically on those columns and then under the windows and that. It's super aged due to mostly the salt from the streets over the wintertime. And they're replacing it exactly like for like, cutting it exactly like for like, same material going in. I had them send me spec sheets. So then at that point I realized they were gonna have to wait till November or have it as an administrative approval. Currently in the matrix, we have basically everything to do with masonry is under one little box that says anything contributing or higher doesn't go straight to you guys. Because it was a like for like material, I called and asked, whether there was some wiggle room there, what the comfortability level was, and we approved it administratively. So if you see that happening, that's what's happening, but it's exactly like for like, same material, same cut. I had it all confirmed. And it's just those lower 4, it's not like the whole building suddenly getting replaced. It's just about the 4 feet where there's already a cut line in the masonry, down.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next, if that's it, is new business from the commission. I'm sure we have, if you could just give us an update on what happened with the mill lease.
Sure. The ruling was that the administrative hearing officer's determination was upheld by the court, meaning that they were found to be in violation of the property maintenance code.
Are they gonna pay that fee?
So that is the question now, is next steps are, we continue to pursue code enforcement, they submit a redevelopment plan, or they submit another attempt for demolition. That's kind of where we're at, seeing.
Yeah.
Or appeal, right? Or take it to a higher court, yes.
Oh my gosh.
All right. I have been separately asked on a number of occasions over the past month or so about the house that was demolished off of River Lane on the south end. Do we know what's going on there?
We actually approved that
Right.
demolition.
Exactly, but I think there was some, it's just been sort of sitting. I know some people that live on that street, and I've been approached by a number of people asking me what's going on. It's just not, there's no.
They just finished the entire demolition not that long ago.
Right.
Because it took them a bit, because there were so many trees on the property.
Maybe they were just annoyed.
Yeah, they probably were, because it did take a bit. It took
Yeah.
them a long time to get started, to begin with.
I don't know, my report
And then-
back was just
yeah.
about the lack of progress.
Yeah, I get that, but
I think they did stop there in the summer for a while.
but it just got completed not that long ago,
Exactly
the
right.
entire property.
Yeah.
I know that they are working with an architect to develop plans for the property, and they didn't sod and seed the site because they thought they were going to be ready to submit permit rather quickly, and then
Yeah.
that has changed, so now we're working with them to get it stabilized before the winter hits.
Gotcha, okay.
Just curiosity-wise, the submittal that was given for this, the other, for 501 South Street, that's not normal, right?
Correct. I think,
There were quite a few permits that had been.
I think you can see in other applications what we require for
Correct.
permit applications, and we've had difficulty getting it in this case.
Yeah. I mean, is it worth us discussing these things if they haven't gone to that level?
I was not directly involved in those discussions. I don't know, Emily, if you could speak to it more, but I know we were contemplating whether or not it should be a concept review before the commission, or what we do when we have a project that's kind of in progress, where it's half constructed already.
Brian and I had a series of conversations and sometimes negotiations with the applicant on what could be turned in. We said what we require, drawings with an architect's stamp, especially on something which is structural. This is what was received after that series of negotiations, because the plan, according to Brian checking the code, was nominally structurally sound. We decided to move forward with the full port just in case, but totally understand your guys' ruling on it, and we'll be keeping that in mind for the future. I think it was also because the other timing elements came in, it became sort of a stressor for everyone suddenly, where it should have just been by the book facts.
Well, and this is something that originated, at least on our minds, back in 2023. So there's been some time to develop and, you know, this isn't a 5-alarm fire right now. This condition has existed for 2 years, so there's been some time to assemble and submit. So I'm sure that the winter will be enough time to then formally approach somebody who can draw something, and then we will have something to look at in the spring.
Unless it's too windy, then it could be creative.
I think, Paul, to your point, if the applicant doesn't submit the proper documentation, having them come here sets a false expectation that they're going to make progress, when clearly he was not close at all to progress. So in a case like this, I don't think it should even come in front of us.
No, I don't think it should either, because it seems to be that, and I think we want to make sure that we get a good package of information to review and to, I think that I know that it's difficult to force people to do what is required per code, but there's a reason behind it.
Right.
So I think that's, and we've had I think we had one, I think it was September, we had something where, again, we didn't have a lot of, I think it was the house, I'm trying to think of, the house that was the one that he had a bunch of things that he was doing also.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't that big of a deal, because a lot of what he was doing was within an addition that was not historic.
Right.
So I think that made it easier to approve. He did have documents too to show
And
exactly.
some of the things that were happening there were sort of onesie-twosie things. There weren't like these sweeping changes that we're going to swap out this light, I feel like it was a little different.
A little different, but I think we want to hold people to getting a complete package together. So.
Well, and for me, it became abundantly clear when I couldn't even envision what was going to happen. It was like, I wonder what that's going to look like, So I think for anybody that does watch this on, YouTube or however they're watching your meetings.
You want to ask him? He might be outside.
But we just absolutely have to have that drawing. Otherwise, we don't know what we're approving.
Exactly.
But I think it'll be helpful too. I know he kept referencing Michael and stuff, which was well over a year ago.
Yeah.
If there was something like in writing that we had, to help support that, but I think that's not relevant anymore to say that you talked to somebody a year and a half ago and then.
Months and months between some of these changes.
And a lot of the reason there wasn't anything in writing is because there wasn't anything in writing originally,
Right.
so I don't want to word of mouth it.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Okay, thank you for the note, that will be, it won't happen again.
And I wish he would call you Emily, not her. He kept saying her.
Well, a lot of first names, no last names. I was having trouble tracking who we were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But that's neither here nor there.
No.
So we'll see what he comes back with. Anything from the public?
Take it easy, Al.
Good job, Al, waiting all this time.
Get your flannel out.
All right, I got 17 pages of notes.
Yeah.
No, there's just one little thing that I wanted to just bring to your attention, because I haven't seen it in the public anywhere. So I was in contact with the Army Corps of Engineers a couple weeks ago, just checking on the progress of the what they're doing with the dams and stuff like that. And what they explained to me was that they've sent a letter to all the municipalities in the Fox River that have a dam that they don't own, that is requesting a non-binding agreement by January 30th of 2026 on dam removal. Now, what the non-binding agreement says is that you're choosing whether to remove your dam or not. But to be very clear, that is not exactly what it means. It's non-binding. So really what the Army Corps is asking for is permission to continue to study the effects of dam removal. That is really what they're asking for there. So it wouldn't surprise me if it just gets administratively done, like the mayor signs it and it goes on. I don't know. I mean, David could possibly know more. I don't know.
So, Al, who owns their dams and who don't own the dams?
Well, I can only talk about the 3 dams here I know of. St. Charles's Dam is owned by the IDNR.
Oh.
I think that's also Geneva's dam is owned by the IDNR. And Batavia owns their own dam. So,
Damn.
yeah, and I talked to the mayor actually about it the other day, and he's like, I don't, anything to do with any federal thing, I don't want anything to do with right now, so. But anyway, that's a whole nother matter, it doesn't really, not relevant to this, but the bottom line is what I want to make it clear is I'm concerned that the public, if they hear about this, they're going to get the wrong idea, especially in St. Charles, they're going to think, oh my gosh, they're going to take the dam out. No, they're not going to take the dam out. They're just going to continue to study what the impact is going to be so that the elected officials in St. Charles, Geneva, everywhere, have all the information they need to make that final decision. Now, in the Army Corps' documentation or whatever they sent to me, they think that they're going to have final, they're going to start taking dams out in 2028 is what their plan is. And I seriously doubt it. There's a whole lot of reasons why, federal money, state money, these things take forever. The Carpentersville Dam that the Forest Preserve District took out, I think it took them 10 years, and they wanted it out. So it's going to be a while. But I just want to make sure that you guys know that there is this out there, and I'm hoping that the cities all sign it and that they continue to get the information they need to make a final decision in some later date. Maybe we're not here anymore, but we have to make that decision. But I just wanted to get that information out there to you guys here.
Is the thing that the cities are going to be asked to sign, is there an explanation?
Oh, yeah.
Similar to what you just gave us, that this non-binding means that we're going to continue studying? And it doesn't.
I haven't seen the actual letter,
Okay.
so I can't say exactly what it says. I'm just going off of what the officer of the Army Corps wrote to me and explained to me. And also, I did communicate with the city administrator at St. Charles, and she concurred with me that was the intent of the non-binding agreement. And again, non-binding is really critical because Army Corps doesn't want to waste his time if the city is not going to ever have the dam come out.
But it doesn't matter how the city answers that question.
In the long term, right.
So yes or no, it doesn't matter.
No. At this point, it makes sense to continue with the process.
Yeah.
And as far as our involvement in the process, in case you're interested, once the city decides to take the dam out, then there will be a process by which the Army Corps will have to do a section 707, actually they'll do a 106 actually, in which they will take a look at what the impact to the historic feel and structures along the river that could be impacted by the dam. And we are a consulting party for that. Preservation Partners is a consulting party for that. But again, that's way, way, way down the road. So, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just want to add, we do have a web page on our website.
Oh.
If you just go in the search bar and hit dam update.
Don't put the N on it.
Fox River Dam update. It was last updated last week. It includes the IDNR request for a letter to continue support of the study and outlines the next steps and timeline going forward for public meetings
And that's on
engagement.
the
And
Geneva
ultimately-
website?
Yeah.
Does it have, it doesn't have a letter on it though, does it?
It has the letter from, that they sent to the
Oh, okay.
municipalities. asking-
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
there's a hyperlink there.
Oh, okay, well then, Kevin, you can read it and find out if I'm telling the truth.
Oh, I'm sure you're telling the truth.
Yeah.
But you see exactly what it says, yeah. But I just, you know.
Does Preservation Partners have a position at all?
Our position is to encourage the Army Corps of Engineers to mitigate any adverse effects that may be occurring from dam removal. I've been studying the municipalities, Charles, Geneva, Batavia. I've done an extensive one of St. Charles to determine what those things may be. There are a couple of things in St. Charles we are concerned about. The biggest one is the quote-unquote island green at the Potawatomi Golf Course, if you're familiar with it. Technically, it's a peninsula, but St. Charles has this problem. They can't tell what's a peninsula, what's an island. Anyways, from the last study the Army Corps did, it indicated that the river would not go there anymore, where that island green is, so how can it really be an island anymore? It's not really an island right now, technically. Anyway, but it was designed by an extremely famous golf course designer. It was paid for by WPA. It was built by the WPA. And it's kind of it's actually, I believe it's the first of its kind, so the first type of island green. This particular architect who did this, his name was Robert Trent
Jones.
Yes, thank you. His belief in designing a golf course was to make it, was it an easy bogey but a hard birdie, something like that. So in this particular case, at this island green, you can try to drive it from the driving, tee all the way to the green if you want to be really risky and get an eagle or possibly a birdie. But, if you do that, you're going to probably end up in the river. And now it might be even harder because the trees are a lot taller than they were when he put them in. So, but that's one of the things that we have some concern about. It just needs, whatever they decide to do, some mitigation, and I don't know what that looks like, but that's a conversation that we'll have someday. Geneva I haven't studied yet, and Batavia I'm going to be working on next year. So I know I have plenty of time, so I'm taking it.
Yeah, very good.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
With that, if I can get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're out.